Happy Monday, everybody. We are back for another Monday Miracle video here at Bright Beginnings Pediatric Chiropractic. And today is actually going to be a dad edition Monday Miracle. We absolutely are a pediatric chiropractic office. Well over 80% of our clientele is pediatrics. However, what tends to often happen is when we do our nervous system scans and we are talking with the parents about the things that we're working on and they see the results for their kids, they start to ask questions of, hey, could you help me with XYZ? And for most parents, it usually ends up being maybe some pain and tension somewhere, maybe some headaches, some anxiety, some stress, some energy levels, some lack of good rest and sleep. Those are, I would say, pretty run-of-the-mill for most parents, right? If you're a parent listening to this, you're probably like, yeah, I could probably use a little bit more improvement on that stuff, right? And this one was all about dad. So dad came in and his big complaint was that he had some low back pain that was radiating into his butt and down his leg for a couple of years. Actually, it had been slowly building, and finally got him in, and we started to work on it. And of course, in addition, we start to ask the questions of how is this affecting the rest of your life, right? And he was not sleeping well. He was not confident in doing any like outdoor lifting or yard work or chores or tasks or anything like that. And then he was pretty low on energy and just had, been really stressed about life, but certainly being in pain like that adds to it as well. And so we set some goals, and his goals were to sleep without pain meds, right? So that's a big one, right? No one wants to be having to rely on pain meds all the time just to get to sleep or to feel okay. Get that confidence back for lifting and outdoor chores, and then starting to notice more energy. And so we did a progress exam last week, and he... all of a sudden we asked, how are these goals going? He goes, oh, the sleeping without pain meds is fully improved. And I was like, what do you mean? How long? You didn't tell me this. You're supposed to tell me these things, dude. And he goes, oh yeah, for a few weeks now. Awesome stuff. Would have loved to know that, right? We want to celebrate these things immediately. The second he got a day or two without it, that's a huge improvement, a huge celebration, because he travels a lot for work. And so our care, he's been with us for about 2 months, but we haven't been able to get quite as many visits in the frequency that we recommended. He hasn't quite been able to do because he's out of town for week chunks at a time a lot. So things were maybe not happening as fast as what we would typically love to see them. And so we're finally starting to build that momentum. He was in town for like 3 weeks in a row. We were able to knock out a bunch of visits, and all of a sudden, yep, here we go. Here comes that healing, right? So, and along with that, because the pain was the thing that was causing the decreased confidence, right? He's been able to go hiking recently. He's been able to go camping, been able to get out and do all the yard work with the summer, right? So absolutely awesome stuff there. And then the energy, and I asked him at the beginning, was the energy just due to the pain, or was that already low? And he was like, yeah, it's been worse with the pain, of course, right? With the chronic pain, but it was a little bit lower, and I would have liked to see improvement in that, even before some of this. So more energy. And I asked him, how are you noticing that? He said, I just feel like I'm more resilient. I've got just a little bit more left in the tank at the end of the day. He's a super busy guy. Like I said, travels a lot for work. Putting out a lot of fires is the way that him and I like to talk about what he's doing at work. So lots going on there. And then he's also noticing, increased flexibility, increased mobility, and that lower back pain has been very, very minimal, and that radiating pain not bothering him. So that is what it's all about, right? We talk about all these things that we do with kids all the time, and that stuff is really cool because people just don't really realize chiropractic can help with that type of stuff, right? Whether it's the different neurodiagnoses that we're working with, ADHD, anxiety, sensory processing, autism, whatever it may be, or it's these other kids who are just struggling emotionally or behaviorally or socially, or it's little babies who are struggling to sleep, eat, poop, whatever it may be, right? Those are things that people don't realize that chiropractic care can help with. So we talk about that stuff a lot, but as I mentioned at the beginning, when we get those kids in, we do nervous system scans. We do the exact same scans on adults as well. We do the exact same scans on pregnant moms as well. They are totally safe, non-invasive, nothing's going into the body. We're just reading sensory information. So it gives us awesome information about why parents are struggling, why they're not sleeping well, why they're low on energy, why their back might be hurting them, why they might be having all these headaches, why their cycle might be dysregulated or more painful, why they're struggling with stress, why they're feeling more irritable or on edge with their kids, whatever it may be, right? So all the stuff can absolutely be applied, just as we apply it to kids, can be applied to adults as well. So I thought this was a fun one to share. If you are struggling, if your kid is struggling, if your spouse is struggling, let us know. We'd love to help. Happy Monday, hot Monday here in Milwaukee. Have a good one.